Cathie Wood was on being interviewed, and she was being asked about this FSD beta. And this interviewer was kind of very already coming in with a very negative perspective. I'm going to play this 3.5 minute video of the interview, and I just love the way that Cathie Wood answered it. Elon Musk, of course, reacted to this, saying Cathie's awesome, interviewer less so. So let's go ahead and watch this 3 minute episode, because I think it's worthwhile to listen to her answer.
Getting autopilot, possibility could be even taking it off the road during a recall. As an investor, does that concern you? I mean, autopilot is basically the Tesla promise, it's the magic, it's the vision. How monumentally bad would that be? Are you concerned?
No, we're not. So first, I want to give all credit to our analysts, Tasha Keeney, Sam Corris, and Daniel McGuire, who just joined us. And they have put together our new Tesla model, I mean, the updated Tesla model, which has gotten some publicity. The target price for 2027 now is $2,400, and we're at $170. And most of that, a good part of that, is autopilot. In Tesla's Investor Day, which Tasha and Sam attended, we learned, they brought out data, disclosed data, which showed that a Tesla car with full self-driving is 6 times safer than the average car on the road. It has one accident every 3.2 million miles, whereas the average car has one accident every 500,000 miles. If you were to compare the new Tesla FSD with those, the ones that didn't have that or don't have that capability, it's 6 times safer than the average car, 5 times safer than the old Tesla cars. Now, if there's one thing the National Highway and Safety Transportation Association, NHTSA, needs to pay attention to, it is fatalities. We've had decades of fatalities in autos coming down since the safety driving measures, safety belts and so forth, started upon the scene in the 70s. It went down practically, I'm not sure where the peak was, but it was at least double where it is now. It dropped to 35,000 around the time we started ARC, or to 30,000, and now it's back to 45,000. That is just in the last 8 years. Why is it? It's because of texting and cell phones and so forth. That is their mission. They need to make the roads safer. And one thing I know, every time they examine a fatality, why don't they examine all the other fatalities out there on the road? The ones that kill 45,000 people a year. You only hear about Teslas. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, when they examine those fatalities, odds, well, most of the time, the majority of the time, they conclude that it is the driver's fault. There's so much monitoring, so many sensors within the car. And they come up with yet another metric that says, you know what? Tesla cars are safer than most cars out there.
But people have gotten into crashes while on autopilot because they're doing other things and not paying attention.
Well, they're supposed to be. I mean, if you've used autopilot, you know you have to be paying attention. You have to, and they tell you you have to. It is this last upgrade. I'm glad they beep at you and just make you put your hands on the wheel and keep focused. This last upgrade is pretty astonishing, though.
Wow, Amy. So that's the first time you saw that, right?
Yes, it
What's your
is.
reaction to it? Yeah.
My reaction is, first off, I think that Cathie Wood is exceptional in her clarity and her ability to go to the thing that matters the most. The thing that matters the most that people just somehow keep forgetting, or they're being influenced by short sellers and FUD without even realizing it, is the amount of lives that full self-driving is going to save, and that you don't even have to be in a car for it to save your life. I mean, we know, unfortunately, JB Strobel's wife was killed when a driver crossed the lane Sunday morning and hit her on her bike. If that car had had full self-driving, she would be alive right now. And it's unfortunately really sad considering that he was the founder of Tesla and this technology that Tesla is working on would have saved her. It's really sad. So if you look at and you don't unfortunately, you will never know that your life was saved, that your friend's life was saved, that your daughter's life was saved. It's just gonna be slow slowly and then fast. Traffic accidents and traffic deaths are gonna become very, very rare, and it's gonna be a complete change to society, and then you look at the utility and the mobility offered to people that don't have it right now, or the extra hours in the day. People that are taking public transportation to work, it certainly works to get them there, and they have utility and time, like, to read or do other things, but, between connections and waiting on a platform or whatever they have to do, they might be spending an extra hour a day that could now be freed up with robotaxis that take them direct to the destination. And you have areas where there wasn't good public transportation where robotaxis are going to be allowed. There was one thing that the interviewer did, and Cathie would knew it, but she ignored it because she was trying to focus on the most important information. And if you watch most of the FUD that's coming out, will say autopilot. They do not say FSD. So they're looking at very old software. They're not looking at anywhere near the new software, and they're conflating the two as if they're the same, and they're not even close to the same. Of course, we know FSD is beta, and one of the criticisms that Tesla gets right now is that these are supervised miles underneath FSD, where you have a driver they're capable of taking over. But that would be saying that that therefore negates the value of FSD, would be like saying that the fact that the autopilot in my airplane is a supervised autopilot by me, the pilot, makes it not valuable for safety. And I would say that's ridiculous because we have things like an automatic Mach trim compensator that if it sees that the airplane is entering this dangerous aerodynamic state, it automatically starts trimming the nose up to stop it quicker than a pilot could react. So there's very definitive safety features in airlines and airplanes used in airplanes that the public is very comfortable with, that they are aware that airplanes have been engineered to be much safer, but somehow they're not making that mental transference to why shouldn't then we be able to take a car, which is actually a simpler thing than an airplane, and also engineer that to be much safer. So I'm really excited about where full self driving is going, and we talked about the single stack too when we were off screen. That by going to the single stack, now Tesla has has a couple of huge benefits there. They're getting a lot of extra data because now all those times on the freeway is counting as well. And their engineering team does not no longer has to be maintaining two
Yeah.
systems. Now their engineering team can be focused on using all this extra data to query it for the edge cases and solve those. I'm getting ever more confident that we're going to see dramatic improvements very, very soon to a fully self-driving capable car, way quicker, I think, than anyone thinks.
Yeah. I think the misinformation is just crazy because, as she pointed out, as the data is showing today, don't have to wait for the future. Today, FSD is safer already, 6 times safer out there because it's supervised FSD. And if you're driving
Yes.
it, so why wouldn't you be more safer if you've got the 8 cameras plus you driving? And then, like she said, people there's a camera looking at your face if you're focused, and if it doesn't, it'll warn you and then eventually turn it off and won't
And
let you
then
do this in the camera.
exactly, and the
Mhm.
safety score takes a hit. So, Tesla's actually monitoring this, whereas all those people out
Yeah.
there on their cell phones that, as you very smartly pointed out, cause accident rates to rise aren't getting that same type of monitoring. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question that in every way, shape, or form, if I had a
Mhm.
teenager, I would want him in a Tesla to keep them safe
Yeah.
because they would have the safest car that's that's ever made where the Model S broke the machines. And then they have this advanced driver assist systems as
Yeah.
well to offset the mistakes that a teenage driver would make.